Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your moms would practically build themselves. Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Murph. Welcome to today's show. Today, I've had this video for, I don't know, a while. We're probably talking 3 years ago, maybe 2, when I shot it. So it'll be a little grainy. There's a couple of places where the sound isn't all that great. I apologize. But I thought this would be a good time to take a break from the ships for a day and show you folks how I did a candy paint job on a resin car body. It takes a little bit more work. It's a little bit more work. It's a bit of work to do it and do it right. I'm just gonna go through the processes with you because getting everything prepped and ready, there was a lot involved, a lot more than just the painting. So we're gonna go through that. There will be a place where I don't show you all of the spraying that I do, like the undercoating. I'll mention it, but I actually didn't get that step on camera, which is fine because it's just, putting on a coat of the undercoat for the candy colors that we're going to do. So stick with Mad Dog Merv, and today, please forgive the video and sound, but we're going to look at how I paint a resin car body with a candy paint job. So here is the inspiration for this paint job I'm about to do. This goes back to like 1979, and I used to walk by this Camaro all the time when I was in high school. He had painted it all gold underneath and then used this candy red metallic and then done ghost flames. So this is the basis for it. Okay, so we're gonna start on this Frankenstewed. First thing you want to do with any resin kit is you want to wash it. So this is just some Palmolive dish soap and water, like a drop, and I am going to spray down the body, and I'm going to take this towel and I'm going to kind of just scrub over it, because I want to try and just get any mold release agent off that might be on this thing. Okay, that's kind of what we're wanting to do. That's the idea, is get all this mold release off. We just want to make sure that our primer is going to stick really good. Okay, that's what we're after. So I've got her wiped down really good. Okay, and the bottom part here, same thing, but I've already done this piece, so we're good to go. Now I'm just going to start by clearing up these areas here. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of all of this flash. So we'll start on that here in just 1 minute. All right, so we're gonna clean this thing up now. And one of the things to keep in mind, I know it's really hard to see, but there is a line here that should be for the window and such, but I've got to remove quite a bit of material. So I'm going to take a sharp knife and I'm going to remove the real easy stuff. When I say easy, it's the thinner the thinner flash. So like that. Okay. Now I'm going to have to come back right now, and I'm going to have to dig a lot closer to the actual window line. So because you won't be able to see me up close doing it, I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and we'll show you the results. So there's how it is beforehand, and on this side we'll be right back. Okay, now I am ready to paint the body, and I'm going to do it off camera here because I think we all know how to use a can of spray paint. I'm going to give it
just some light wispy coats to start with, and we'll come back and here's what it looks like after giving it just these light wispy coats. You can see there's a couple of areas that it's not completely covered, so I'm going to go back in a few minutes. I'm going to let it flash off a little bit, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit it again. Now keep in mind that this body had a lot of it's kind of rough. You see that texture? That's not from the paint. That's actually the body of the car. So we're going to have to put a pretty decent coat of this on. I'm going to have to let it sit thoroughly, a few days. And then we're going to come back and we're going to use our polishing pads and we're going to polish this out, because I want it to be really, really smooth before I put my color coats on.
So you guys have seen me use these before and talk about them before. I absolutely love these kind of polishing pads, and I usually start out with about a 1200, get it wet, and go over the whole car, progressively go up into the 2000s, 3000s, 5000s, and yes, I did get it all nice and smooth, so I could put on the gold or brass. This is, I think, Floquil Model Railroad brass, but I used an enamel because it's what I had. I have some acrylics as well, but this is what I chose. And this was my base coat, and it went on beautifully. Okay, and then I used this the Stoplight Red Metallic by Model Master because it's translucent, and this Candy Scarlet for the lower half of the car. Now, I used the 2780 High Gloss Clear to put a good shine on the whole thing, and of course I always thin all of these enamels with lacquer thinner. They flash off quicker that way and they dry quicker. Okay, so now is the pause where I should be painting that brass or gold or whatever color you want to call it, but it's the under coating that is very important. It's just like when you do the golding technique that I've talked about before with the Molotow chrome. It needs to go on nice and smooth and look really good before you put the top coats on. Same thing goes here. This gold or brass, whichever color it is that you decide to use, and there's a bunch of different brands out there. I just happen to have this handy, and it's what I used. I'm sure that you could use the Tamiya acrylic as a base, and I would bet that it's not going to get harmed by what we're about to do. I haven't tried that. Maybe one of these days that would be a good video to do. But anyway, this is where I got out the airbrush. I sprayed all of that really, and we're just going to call it gold under base on. Let it flash off and dry. I mean, it didn't take long, 30 minutes, and I'm handling it, ready to go, checking for any imperfections at all, ready to hit it with like a 5000 grit polishing pad if I needed to. I really didn't have any issues. So let's go to the next.
All right, so we're gonna start. Just make sure I've got every little piece of dust I can off of this thing, and then start my pattern out. It's okay if I go down a ways, because we're going to put a darker color down below. Just kind of a light coat is what I'm putting on, because I'm not trying to, since it's kind of a translucent color anyway, I'm not trying to overpower. I'm just trying to go over the gold and still keep that kind of a gold look to it. It's hard to explain. And there we go. So far, with the stoplight red metallic. So we're gonna let that dry, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna load up the next color. Okay, so I've got the Candy Scarlet loaded up, ready to go. Just make sure I don't have any dust. I can't really see any. Make sure that I'm happy with how it looks. Okay, now I gotta be careful. So here we go. Start out spraying on my glove. And we're just going to do the lower part of the body. The lowest parts are going to have a pretty good thick coat. It's nice and dark. And I'm going to work my way up and just lighter, 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 like a single pass. Take your time. And when I mix this, I mixed it about 50-50 with my lacquer thinner. So this is really a nice thin paint. And that's exactly how I want it, nice and thin. Low pressure on the spray. I don't want to get it everywhere. Try to gradually just make it lighter, you know, less material as I go up. Okay, yeah, and make sure my spray's good still. I'm still good to go. Again, I'm trying to get it nice and gradual, which is just tough. That isn't easy, I'll tell you. And I'm getting a good coverage. Bottom. Okay. Built a little bit. Okay. Now we're good. Now we got the what we want here. There, we're cooking with gas. try to keep you on camera as much as I can. I move around a lot when I paint. Okay, so there you go. It's kind of hard to see with this lighting, but it's a very gradual from the candy scarlet on the bottom to the stoplight red on the top. So that's where we're at so far. We're going to let that dry, and we are going to come back and give it a nice gloss coat. Okay, so I've got the 2780 high gloss enamel loaded up in the sprayer, and let's get going on this. Again, it's about 50-50. I want to make sure it's nice and thin. I don't want to have any what do you call it, ripples. I don't want it, if it's too thick, yeah, you'll get kind of rippling effect. Again, I'm using just regular old lacquer thinner to cut it, so it'll flash off quicker, and it'll, quote, burn into the coat that's down below. You don't want to have too much lacquer thinner, of course. It'll craze, it'll be too hot, and it'll craze your paint. And that's why you don't want to get too much on one spot either. But I've been doing this a long time, so every once in a while we still have some issues, but for the most part, things turn out pretty good. I'm just very lucky I was able to find these Testors enamels still. Someday I'm going to have to do all this with acrylic. Terrifies me. Now see how one half is done and the other half isn't? That's, yeah, that's how this, you can see how wet that looks. But yet there's no puddles, so. And just keep it nice and smooth and consistent, keep it looking wet. Looks like I picked up a little tiny booger right there that I don't want. Looks like I'm gonna have to use my blade. Yeah, so we're going to have a little blemish there, but we'll do what we can to hide it with this. Put it a little bit thicker so it just kind of burns in and will help blend some of that paint. Looking pretty good. Got just a little bit left. It's looking pretty good. I know it's still hard to see all that gradual, the gradual color here, but it's there. It's there, definitely. And go over the hood one more time. And I'm going to call that good. I'm about out of lacquer here. And there's the end of that. Okay. Now we are going to let this dry for Even though it'll flash off pretty quick, I want it to dry really good and solid for a couple of days. So we're going to give it a couple days, come back and look at it, then polish it up a bit. And here's a quick look at the final product. You can see the reflection of the window in it. It's got such a beautiful deep shine. Took a couple of days to dry really good. We'll do some more work on this in the future, and we'll bring you up to date on how it gets finished. So thanks for joining us today.